Hey, are you tired of trying to build your business with samples? Maybe tired of doing them with home meetings or three-way calls? Just all those things that you feel like are just like, I'm so sick of this. Well, maybe you've tried using Messenger before. Okay. Maybe you don't do the samples, you don't do the home meetings, maybe you haven't done the three-way calls, but you've tried using Messenger and you're frustrated because you're still not getting enough replies. Or maybe you've got that fear of looking spammy and that's kept you from even trying Messenger at all. I know we've been there. Well, in this week's episode, we're going to share 4 simple tips that you can use immediately to feel more confident when prospecting on Messenger.
Hey there, everybody. I'm Jordan Maley, and I'm here today with my mom and business partner, Kathy Schneider, and we want to welcome you to this week's episode of Coffee with K&J. We are a mother-daughter team. We help driven network marketers like you with the simple strategies to grow your business quickly online without confusion and overwhelm. And every single week, we come to you live for a new episode of Coffee with K&J, where we give you guys amazing free training and free resources to help grow your business. So if you're watching on our new YouTube channel, we would love it if you would hit the subscribe button. Become a subscriber so that you become the first to know when we come out with new episodes and new resources in real time. And don't forget to grab this week's free resource. It's linked in the description below, or if you're hanging out with us over on Facebook, you can check it out scrolling across the bottom of your screen. You can click there. So those of you who are joining us live, say hello. Let us know you're here. Let us know where you're tuning in from. We would love to welcome you and say hello to you this morning. And let's hang out and have a good time together today.
Yeah, and absolutely. And if you're new, like if this is your first time on, let us know that as well. We want to know if you're like, this is your first time to view us here on our live. We want to know that. So we always like to start off with a quote. And any of you who follow us much at all know that we love Jim Rohn, but this one just really made it good. We were, like I mentioned earlier, maybe you're scared of using Messenger. Maybe you're scared of inviting people at all to even look at your business, okay? So one thing that we were taught years ago was you can't wish it was easier, okay? Right? That doesn't work. You've just got to wish you were better. And how do you get better? You work on yourself. You tune into things like this and you learn the skills. And you know what? With practice comes much better. It may not create perfect, okay? But you're gonna get better with practice. So don't wish it was easier, just wish you were better. And the way you wish that to get better is just to keep working on yourself day in and day out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is so true. That's such a good quote for today. Today, we're going to be talking about 4 tips to help you confidently prospect in Messenger like a professional. Okay.
Yes.
And that last little bit is the important bit. Drop a comment if you've ever received a copy paste message in Messenger from someone you don't even know, someone you've never talked to before, saying, oh my gosh, you've got to join my team or you've got to buy this product. And I want to stress, this is not a dig at those people, because what's really sucks about this is many people are taught that's the way to grow your business. Mm-hmm. I have sent those messages. Mom, I know you have sent those messages, right? Mm-hmm. Those long, copy paste messages. And you just feel icky sending them, right? But you're motivated, you're driven. It's what you were told to do. So you're like, okay, I'm gonna give it a try, right? I remember, if I really sit and close my eyes, I can think about how I would feel when I would have to sit down and do that in my business, because it just felt yucky. Don't you agree? Mm-hmm. And so, unfortunately, it's what a lot of people are taught to do, but there is a better way to do it.
Well,
it works better.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? When I think back, and when you said that, close your eyes and think back, what entered my mind was, and this is the reason I still can't use this word to today, is power hour. And I love and this isn't a gig at that, because I love that term when it's done right. Okay, when it's done right. There's nothing wrong with giving yourself an hour and focusing on your business and doing it the right way. But when I hear power hour, I hear Spam.
And send 100 messages in 60 minutes. Ready, go.
Yeah, it's so funny. And so I really had to, like, I've had to work on the psychology inside my, like, the thought of power hour and what that really means. So, hey,
Absolutely.
Alyssa, first time joining in. Welcome, welcome. We're glad to have you here.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, Alyssa, great to meet you. Yeah, I think about that too. And it's funny because back in the day, we used to do dialing for dollars as a team. And this was before Facebook. So our whole team would get into this chat room and we would talk to and encourage each other while we would call our leads. And that kind of hour I loved because they were people who had reached out and said, yeah, we want to learn more about your business. And it was so fun to do it all together as a team. But those like send 100 messages in 60 minutes kind of power hours are definitely not my thing. So we're going to talk today about Messenger and how to prospect in Messenger without feeling yucky, without looking spammy, without scaring away your friends and family, right? But we want to make sure that you get a lot of value from this episode. And so we went ahead and put together our proven inviting scripts. Now, these are the inviting scripts that we use personally, that we teach our team to use. You're going to love them. They make everything that we're talking about today, it like takes it to the next level, right? Because it's going to help you go from having that conversation and being stuck in the friend zone to then transitioning over to that actual invitation, right? Mm-hmm. Hey there, Celine, great to see you. And hey there, Stephanie. I love that. That's amazing, all the way from Canada. So you guys definitely run over, download our inviting scripts, globalfreedomcommunity.com/52. You definitely want to download those. They go along with this episode perfectly. And hey there, whoever just said hi. Sometimes Facebook doesn't like to show us your name, but we are glad you're tuning in. So let's dive in and let's get started.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite lines ever because it just makes so much sense and it makes it so simple. If you can just stop before you start prospecting, before you start networking, before you start, those conversations online, and just remind yourself, be a human first and a marketer second. Okay, be a human. Like, let's think about
shout out to the Meltons for teaching us this, right? This is
yeah.
one.
Absolutely. So the thing is, let's stop and think about this for a minute. Let's say that you were at the grocery store, or maybe you're at the park and you see, the quarantine's over. Okay, you can walk up to people, you can talk to them, you can visit with them. This is, imagine that. Can you imagine that? That's hard to imagine. That's probably a farther stretch than being a human first. But if you can seriously think about being a human first and think about pretend you're not on social media, okay? You're not on Facebook, you're not in Messenger, you're walking up to a person face to face and you're going to have a conversation with them. How would you start that if you, like, in your mind, you're thinking, I'd like to get to know this person better because I think they look like the kind of person, I can see them, they're smiling, they're happy, they seem excited, they seem like, this seems like the kind of person I would enjoy working with. So what would you say to that person to get to know them? Would you walk up and say, hey, you look like the kind of person I would love to get to know and work with. If I sent you some information, would you take a look at it?
Not a very big party one-liner, right?
Yeah, even though that line works really well, it works well when it's appropriately placed, okay? Yep. So you've got to start the conversation first. Maybe it's their birthday and you reach out and you say happy birthday. But you know what? How many birthdays a year do we have? One. Okay. So you can't just use the birthday only, right? You've got to find other ways to reach out and talk to people, even though that is a great thing to do because it makes people feel really special. Their birthday, we all know when it's our birthday, it's all about us, right?
It's birthday month for me right now, you guys. Birthday month. So.
Yeah, that's what we really ought to teach is, look for everyone who has a birthday in a certain month and just love on them all month long.
All month long. I would love that. If any of you guys want to do that for me, I would welcome it. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a cool thing. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're being a human first, that you're actually reaching out, you're having conversations. And I want you to remember what I just said. Like, think about you're walking up to someone at a park. You're walking up to someone at the grocery store. And maybe at the grocery store, you don't strike up conversations with strangers. But if you did, you're standing in line, you go, oh my gosh, I love that purse. Where did you get it? Or those are the cutest shoes. Again, maybe you would get to know that person, but you would not say, I love those shoes. And by the way, if I sent you some information about my business, would you take a look at it? You would not do that unless you're just really, really bold and maybe a little desperate, So that's why we say be a human first, be a marketer second, get to know people. And if you can in your mind imagine social media as being the same as just walking up and having a conversation with somebody face to face, then you won't be saying, what do I say? Just be a human, talk to them.
Well, it reminds me of we take our dogs to the dog park. And about a month ago, we met a couple who are here from Europe. They're actually here attending a local university. And, we got to know them so well, standing, all 10 feet apart from each other while our dogs played. But it was, oh my gosh, so where are you from? And which dog is yours? And how long have you lived in Lubbock? And, do you enjoy living here? We're asking normal questions, those normal, what's your major? What do you want to do for a living? Those normal get to know you questions, which are just, what you would say to anybody in real life. And those do translate really, really well to Messenger.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So that leads us to the next one, which is ask good questions. Okay. You've got to ask good questions when you're talking to people because for one thing, it's just the polite thing to do, right? But in network marketing, the person who asks the most questions wins. And Mom, you might remember who used to tell us to try this, but it's a fun little game you can play the next time you're on an airplane. Again, we don't know when that's going to be, but if you're ever on an airplane, and you sit down next to someone and, we all have those people we sit next to on an airplane. They put their earbuds in, they're out, they don't want to talk to you, right? But sometimes you can tell the person next to you might be open to a conversation. And a fun little game to play, I can't remember, it might have been Richard Brooke who taught us this. It seems like something Richard would teach because he's real big on listening. Ask questions and see if you can make it the entire flight. See how much you can find out about the other person without them ever knowing your name, right? Because that means you're not talking about you, you're talking about them. And that's what people love to talk about is themselves. So when you start asking questions and you do it from a genuine place of really just wanting to get to know people, is there think about it. The last time someone really sat down and asked you about the things you were interested in, the things you enjoy talking about, how, you just walked away from that conversation feeling really good, right? And that's how we want to make our prospects feel. We want to make them feel really good. Is this making sense to you guys? Drop a yes in the comments if you're getting value from this, okay? So you got to think about, again, who you're talking to, and you can go to their profile and kind of see maybe some of the things they're interested in. I had a girl just this morning send me a message and said, oh my gosh, I see you love horses. Do you compete? And I was like, all about answering that message, right? Because I'm like, oh, I do. Do you ride horses, right? I'm excited to meet another horse person. So you got to think about things that people, if people have kids, you can tell maybe from their post, maybe they're a nurse, maybe they're a teacher. You can find things out about them from their profile and then get to know them through Messenger. And then if that person is talking and you're really listening, you might find a way to introduce your product to your business, which we'll talk about next.
Yeah. So like Jordan said, you're going to listen and you're going to take notes. Okay. And so, and I like actually taking notes. Okay. I want to write down a few things about that person. If it's someone that I intend at some point to invite, and I don't know, we have a system that we use. And like when I start having conversation with someone and I'm like, you know what, I don't want to let this person fall through the cracks. This is the one that long-term, I want to get to know. So if you want to know more about that system, you can reach out to us about that. We can give you a link where you can go check it out. But what I do is I will add their name, to the system. I will take notes about what we talked about, and I will actually schedule a reminder to myself to remember to go back and have conversation again, okay? Because I'm like, this is a key person. Does this happen with every conversation I have? No. Do I add every single person, new friend to my system and on my list? No. That goes back to that, when we were in early days of network marketing years ago. prior to social media, it was like, you know what? If they fog a mirror, if you get to someone and you're talking with them and like, you're close enough, you're having this conversation and your breath could fog a mirror, invite them. They're a prospect. No. I don't
3
believe
feet
in
rule.
that.
If you get within 3 feet of a human, you got to prospect them.
Yeah. I don't
anxiety.
believe that. And that's the same with social media. Again, imagine you are face to face. Okay. And so you're having a conversation. You like what you're hearing. You're enjoying the person. And you're like, you know what? I could sit with this person at an event when we get to start going to those events live again. I could sit with this person. We could hang out. We could have a drink. We could have coffee. I would enjoy this is like someone I would love to rent a vacation house with maybe. Don't know yet, but I'm thinking that, hey, this is someone I would really enjoy spending time with. So what do? You add them to your list and you make sure that you continue to get to know that person better. And at some point when the time is right, you invite them. But here's the thing, when you're having those conversations in Messenger, you're listening, you're taking notes, you're following up, they start seeing your post. Okay. So many times what happens? They reach out to you. Okay. Mm-hmm. But anyway, where I'm getting ahead of myself there, but I want you to know, you want to listen, you want to take notes, and mental notes are fine if you're really good at that. Personally, I've got to make note of it. And I just copy paste and stick it in the notes section where I have the person's name there so that when it comes up for my time to like reach out to this person again, I see it on my to-do list. I quickly glance at the notes and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that, because it does. Your notes help you to remember who this person was. It's just a little bit of information about them. And then I jump into Messenger, continue the conversation, and I go on to the next thing. This is how you get all your work done in less than an hour, is when you're very well organized, you've got notes, you're not fumbling around, you're not wondering, who do I talk to next? You just know. It's like boom, boom, boom.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and once you've had a couple conversations and you've heard some things you like, it's really easy to transition into that invitation. Yeah. Especially if you have the script that we use, which you can grab. It's scrolling across the bottom of your screen, or if you're on YouTube, it's in the description below, globalfreedomcommunity.com/52. Can't believe this is episode 52, but you can go and grab that script for free, and that'll help you transition that conversation.
Absolutely.
But you've got to take notes and stay organized, or you're not going to know who to make those invitations to.
Yeah. So you have that invitation, you make that invitation, then what do?
All right. So you introduce them to your business, right? And we have a lot of different ways that you can do that. Our way is typically that we send them a short video, we let them take a look at it, we add them to our Facebook group. Mm-hmm. But then where Messenger comes back into play is group chats. Okay. So when someone agrees to look at your business, you want to plug them into whatever system you're using for prospecting, presenting, and following up. Okay. Mm-hmm. Everybody's got a different system. I kind of give you a little overview of ours just now, but you want to plug them into that. But then once they like what they see, it's time to take that conversation back to Messenger. The money is in Messenger. Okay. If you can have the person who has the most conversations, they win. Okay. And what I love about group chats is we always encourage our team members to start a group chat with us. So maybe your upline doesn't do group chats. It's okay. Be the first. Okay. Be the first. Offer this tool to your team. They will love you for it. So instead of three-way calls, we do group chats because you don't have to schedule them. Everyone can answer on their own time. We can do hundreds of group chats in a week where like even doing 5 or 10 three-way calls in a week is exhausting, right? But there are weeks where we'll do 200-300 group chats and they literally take hardly any time at all, which is amazing. And so you can do these group chats. And what do? They show social proof. They show support. They let people kind of get an inside look of what it's like to work with you and your upline, with your with your team, to kind of get a team feel going. So what we love about these is they show the prospect how simple it is. So you simply start up a group chat with your upline, or you have your team start one up with you and their prospects and just say, hey, Mary, I got to introduce you to my friend Susan. Susan works the business with me. She's been in the business for a while. She's having a lot of success. She can help answer any questions that you have both before and after you get started, right? And then Susan kind of takes over and starts, asking Mary a little bit about herself, sharing her story, and helps you close that prospect into your business. So again, maybe that's not something you have access to, but you can be the first person to offer it to your team, which is huge. So All right. We get a little excited about group chats over here.
Oh, well, they're so important, and they're so like they duplicate. And guess what? They free up your time compared to, we've had team members, and this is sweet. I mean, this is not a cut on these people, but that will say, hey, I've got someone I want to start a group chat with. Do you have time right now? And we're like, oh, no, 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 no. Guess what? You don't have to schedule group chats. You just start the group chat, and everyone jumps in whenever it's convenient for them. We've had prospects who have said, I'm sorry, I'm just now responding. I got tied up with the kids, and I'm just now seeing this. And we're like, no big deal. That's why we do group chats.
We do these.
Yeah. So we say, we totally understand. There's no reason to respond right away. We're not heart surgeons. This isn't an emergency. This isn't like, you don't have to be available 24/7. You need to be consistent. You need to check up. We check our group messages a couple of times a day, and not even 7 days a week. Okay. But we don't have set hours, but we do it. Okay. We have it on our schedule, but what I mean is you can be flexible. Okay. Yeah. It can depend on your schedule and what's going on. Just be consistent with it. So if you want to grab the proven inviting scripts, you can grab the resource that we created for you for this episode, globalfreedomcommunity.com/52. This will be our proven inviting scripts. And again, remember, if you want to know more about the system that we use for keeping track of our contacts, which we mentioned earlier, just drop us a message. We can get you that link too.
Or a comment. You can drop a comment as well.
Sure.
Anyway, we can get to you that way.
Absolutely.
All right. So question of the week. We always like to end with a question of the week. How many conversations will you start in Messenger today? I love to have a benchmark, a goal, right? What gets scheduled gets done. When you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Like all those little cliches are cliches for a reason. How many conversations are you going to reach out, right? You're going to say,
and we want to know, drop it in the comments.
Yeah, drop it in the comments and let us know. Maybe you're going to message 5 people you have never talked to.
And these are not necessarily invitations, guys.
No,
this is conversations. It could be an invitation, but how many conversations are you going to have in Messenger today? You're going to start in Messenger today.
Mm-hmm. And for me, on the days that I work my business, my benchmark is 5, right? I always want to do 5 as a minimum. And there's some days that I do 10, 15, 20, right? Awesome. I love the idea of group chats. Yes. Love that, Erica. They're really, really great tool for sure. And yes. Hey there, Brenda. Great to see you here. Awesome. Awesome. All right, you guys. So thanks for hanging out with us today. We had a blast with you guys. We can't wait to see you back here next week for another episode of Coffee with K&J. And so you guys have an amazing rest of your week, and we will see you on the next episode.
Bye, everybody.